Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal. I am back with another video, and today I wanted to review for you Transformers the Manga Volume 1. Has been published by Viz, and you can actually either pre-order it at the time of this recording, or you can order it from the same link in the description below. But they sent me this copy to review because this is the first time that the manga has been translated in English officially and is available to purchase, and I am really excited to talk about this. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Okay, so obviously looking at this art, I mean, this cover art alone is incredible. You know, you've got Chrome Dome, Rodimus, Starsaber, Scorponok, Optimus, Overlord, Deathsaurus, and Megatron right there on the cover. And take a notice that the spine is on the right side of the actual book, and that is because manga actually reads right to left. When you open it up in a typical, you know, Western fashion, you're going to get this nice page here that tells you that it's printed in the same original Japanese edition, so that the action, sound effects, and transformations and dialogue all read from right to left. And so you basically have to read it this way. And it's great because this manga in particular was published in the TV magazine when the cartoon was first aired in Japan. It was designed as a subsidiary, like stories for, you know, Japanese audiences while the cartoon was airing in Japan at the same time. And it was the first, I believe, 65 episodes. I know they skipped a few here or there, like especially the ones with Skyfire until like the end, and they had some clip show episodes. But for the most part, most of the 65 episodes of the original cartoon aired in Japan, and that's what the original story here is telling you. It's some really nice illustrations, and the English text is done in a, as most manga is, in this particular font. And to my understanding, the person who did the lettering and retouch was Brandon Bovia, and the translation is by Abby Lark. And you've got some different credits going on there, but it's definitely, you know, a good translation. It's direct. It's a direct translation, and that's not a bad thing. Of course, they call them Autobots and Decepticons and not Cybertrons and Destrons, but that is because, you know, it is designed for typical Transformers fans. The story for the cartoon, for the manga itself, is that the Transformers come to Japan, and they attack. You know, the Decepticons attack. The Autobots go to stop them, and they meet this kid named Kenji. And here we are. We are Transformers from America. Hey, I know you. You're the heroic Autobots, and he helps them with a strategy against Menasor. And notice that Menasor is in a more toy-accurate, representation, instead of looking very much like his cartoon counterpart, where the animation model was a little different as it was done by Floro Dery. Here it actually looks a lot more like his toy, which is not a bad thing, because it gives a good representation of that. And they also give him a helmet, which is one of the most ridiculous things, but it's kind of neat. It's designed so that, you feel like you're part of the Transformers action, because if you get like an Optimus Prime helmet, you can call the Autobots to help save the day. And that's literally what the story is. It's just basically the Autobots are saving the day. It's also interesting because something that ends up happening is that Blitzwing has Megatron in gun mode, in like super gun mode, and Starscream is firing on the Autobots. And while that is happening, Ultra Magnus actually rolls in to help stop the Decepticons, and he also upgrades Optimus Prime's trailer to have a little bit more armaments. And so it kind of gives, neat story to some of the things that the toys could do that you could not do in the or they did not do in the cartoon. But the storyline itself is, you know, it's easy to follow. It's a lot of fun. It kind of links in with Scramble City. They talk about the different combiner teams and all the different combiner gimmicks. But then it moves on to but then it moves on to season 3 continuity. And when it does, this is like actually one of my favorite parts in the manga right here, is where Galvatron like knocks out Rodimus Prime. And, you know, the ghost of Optimus says, Rodimus, you're the new leader of the Autobots. You can't ever lose hope. This is actually something that I wanted to see happen in season 3 that never happened in the cartoon, and should have, because a lot of people, you know, they hate and they rag on Rodimus, but in Japan they love Rodimus Prime. They actually really dug the character. They liked him as the new hot-headed commander, and you know, he faces off against Galvatron. But then there's something really cool that the Quintessons build this Gilthor character, who is a cross between Optimus and Megatron in looks, and he has his own truck mode with like giant cannons, and he's at first, you know, helping Galvatron, but then he turns on Galvatron. You know, there you can kind of see him in his glory, and both Galvatron and Rodimus have to team up together to stop Gilthar, and it turns out that Starscream's ghost is actually possessing Gilthar. So it's actually a pretty neat, you know, story. Then you get some cool stuff like with the different combiner teams. They have like, you know, Bruticus and Predaking, and you know, you get to see some action with the exosuits. But what makes this manga worth it is the illustrations in the back. There's these high detailed illustrations that have like the car modes for different Autobots. Some of the illustrations also are like retelling some of the events of the cartoon, like when the mini-bots were fighting against Trypticon, or there's the birth of Megatron. There's Alpha Trion giving the Matrix to Optimus Prime for the first time, and that took place in the episode like War Dawn, and it was like retold in 5 Faces of Darkness. But a lot of these, you know, a lot of these cool color illustrations are really neat as well, especially the vehicle modes, because you can see how much detail is put in them. But it's also neat to see like the retelling of the story. Like this is like directly from Dark Awakening, and there's also this neat chart that has like all the different Transformers in their hierarchy. Like Galvatron, you know, is leader of the Decepticons. Cyclonus is his second in command. Rodimus Prime is leader of the Autobots, or Decepticons, you know, Cyclonus, Rodimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus. And you have all the different characters in their hierarchy, and who's in charge of what is done really cool. And it's neat that they have the female Autobots on a team as well. So it's like they have like their own separate team. So that, according to Japanese continuity, the female Autobots, they survived after the movie. They were not killed during the Battle of Autobot City. But it's also neat here to see like these full color illustrations of the vehicle modes. You can kind of see the seats in the car for Blur. You know, really nice looking illustrations. That having these in nice clean print form and instead of trying to find them in low res, you know, images that people scanned, is a really nice and awesome thing. But this page in particular, I also wanted to show you guys, because this is the first time that Japan was told that Galvatron was the reborn Megatron, and he was rebuilt by Unicron. So to Japanese audiences, they didn't know this, because Transformers 2010, or Season 3, was aired but well before the movie. So who Galvatron was and who Rodimus Prime was, they were all like brand new characters to, you know, to Japanese audiences. And this is the first time that they were told, no, yes, Megatron was rebuilt into Galvatron, and it's done in this really nice, cool 2-page spread. So it's definitely worth it. I will say this much, and it's also neat that you have Cobra Commander and you know, the only human characters. Some, like, again, really nice illustrations. The final part of the manga story itself is a prelude to the Headmasters anime. So what they actually do is they introduce like Six Shot and Fortress and Chrome Dome and all them right leading up into the Headmaster's anime. So just for this alone, this whole manga is well worth the cover price, but I definitely recommend getting it. You know, this is something that I think Transformers fans have been waiting for a long time, and I do know that they are also going to be releasing 2 more volumes, so the Master Force and the Zone. I'm not sure about Zone, but I do know that Victory, you know, the manga for that, are going to get released as well, and they're going to get released like later this year. So definitely pick this up. It is well worth it. The art alone, just the illustrations in the back alone are worth the price alone itself, but the story is really fun to read as well, and it complements the G1 cartoon pretty nicely, especially with the high detailed illustrations. But I don't know what you guys think. What do you think of Transformers the Manga Volume 1? Of course, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe, and check out my other videos as well. I've got a lot of new Transformers videos coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for all that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.